Tell me where you are, or where we are.
We are in Kevin W. Fitzgerald Park in Boston, Massachusetts. I don't think I've ever shown this place to anyone. I like this place to keep for myself, gatekeep it a little bit, because it brings me peace. It's nature. I love nature, but from that hill you can see the city, and I also love that. I struggle with anxiety a lot, so I think when I'm severely anxious, when I'm just anxious, I guess, I will come here and it will bring me some sort of peace. Mm-hmm. And I just waited out here for like 2, maybe even 3 hours sometimes. I usually come here during the sunset. For me, it signifies like the end of the day, and like with the new day comes more of like I guess more comfortability in myself.
So we are currently in a park. I have no idea what this park is called in terms of Boston geography. This is a park next to the Charles River where my parents and I sat and waited for the fireworks on 4th of July while listening to Chaka Khan performing at the half shell. I was just following whatever my parents wanted to do. They said, well, we should just participate in something that's, I guess, very Bostonian. With, I guess, immigrants in general, you always want to feel less of a stranger than you actually are. So being around other Bostonians, watching the 4th of July fireworks go off on the Charles River, it felt kind of very, it felt like we were achieving something. I think about that a lot because I feel like I've grown this kind of discontent with Boston physically as a place, because I think that it's just, the city is just so ugly. I feel like Boston being physically, in my opinion, ugly, allowed me to do, like, is to just forget the physicality of it and just kind of focus on, you know, the fact that there's always joy and beauty, especially when you're surrounded with certain people. And it's like an automatic thought process that I have. I'll be like having a good time with my friends, or like, for example, with my parents, 4th of July. And then I'm like, you know what? Boston's not so bad. And then like the next day I'm like, this is terrible. I hate this city. But then it's like, it's a constant cycle. Yeah.
So right now we are under my favorite willow tree in the Boston Public Gardens. I like how the branches kind of wave at me in the wind whenever I come here. It's like it's like it's saying hi. I know it sounds a little silly, but I feel like leaning my head against this tree, maybe this is a bit corny, but it feels like loving, and it feels kind and friendly, and it feels like shelter. And I don't know, it just like there's layers to this tree for me. Whenever I'm here, I find myself like whenever I'm in the city, I mean, I find myself just like thinking about sitting in the park all day under this tree. Even though Boston is not my favorite place in the world, like I'm like, oh wow, but I'm here, and I'm lucky to be here. I have the privilege of being here. Like when I first started coming here after that initial good experience, like I was in a much darker place. And I did come here a lot more by myself. I used to bike around the park at night by myself. It would be like 2 a.m. and I'd be like, oh, like I need to go see my favorite park. And I would just bike around here, sit at the docks or under the tree, and just like be on my own. And like, yeah, it was nice, but it's not the experience I'm having today. 2 years ago, the first time I came back here, like after being abroad for a year and realizing how fucked up everything was, and how much it was like painful to go back.
But it got to a point where I began to look forward to it, instead of like dreading coming home. And this time around, I've loved it. If you told my 16-year-old self that I would have the best relationship I've ever had with my dad after coming out as trans, I would never have believed you. Like, I'm able to return here to this spot and be so thankful. I don't know. Like, there's no other way to put it. Like, something about this place was there for me when I needed it to be. And that's why it's kind of my secret spot that's not so secret anymore, because it should be shared. You know?